Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jana Vallabha Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Radha Madhava Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Yashoda Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Yashoda Yamunatira Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe, Jaya Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Balareva Jaya Subhadra Mai, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jugadharma Shri Harinam Sankirtan की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, सामवेद गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतेरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 4, the characteristics of Rishabdev. Text number 6. Yasyaha Pandaveya Shloka Udaharanti Konu Tat Karma Rajarsher Nabhir Anva Acharit Puman Apatyatam Agadyasa Harishuddhena Karmana यस्यः पाण्डवेय श्लोक उदाहरन्ति को नु तत्कर्म राजर्षेर्नाभेर् आचरेत् पुमान् अपत्यातम् अगाद्यस हरिशुद्धेन कर्मणा यस्यः पाण्डवेय श्लोक उदाहरन्ति को नु तत्कर्म राजर्षेर् नाभेर आचरेत पुमान अपत्यातम अगाद्यस हरिशुद्धेन कर्मणा. Any month? So, any Mataji's? Word to word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yasya, of whom, ha, indeed, Pandaveya, O Maharaj Parikshit, Shloko, 2 verses, Udaharanti, recite, Ka, who, Nu, then, Tat, that, Karma, work, Raja Rishi, of the pious king, Nabhe, Nabi, Anu, following, Acharet, would execute, Human, a man, Apatyatam, sonhood, Agat, accepted, Yasya, Whose? Hare, the Supreme Personality Godhead. Shuddhena, pure, executed in devotional service. Karmana, by activities. Translation: O Maharaj Parikshit, to glorify Maharaj Nabi, the old sages composed two verses. One of them is this: who can attain the perfection of Maharaj Nabi? Who can attain his activities? Because of his devotional service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead agreed to become his son. Purport: the words Shuddhena Karmana are significant in this verse. If work is not carried out in devotional service, it is contaminated by the modes of material nature. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita, Yagnarthat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Activities performed only for satisfaction of the Supreme Lord are pure and are not contaminated by the modes of material nature. All other activities are contaminated by the modes of ignorance and passion as well as goodness. All material activities meant for satisfying the senses are contaminated, and Maharaj Nabi did not perform anything contaminated. He simply executed his transcendental activities even when performing yajna. Consequently, he obtained the Supreme Lord as his son. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadate Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurasve Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Chagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vacha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangulangayate girim Yat kripaha tamaham mande Shri Guru Hare Krishna. So before I start speaking, I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that I can speak on this verse to glorify the Lord and purify my heart. So in this particular section, we are seeing how Maharaj Nabi performed a sacrifice to please Lord and desiring a son like Lord. And Lord appeared there, and the Brahmanas their offer their prayers, actually repenting that we have performed this desiring something material, and Lord says that there is no one, you cannot have a son like me, but I'll myself come as Rishabdev. And in this particular chapter we see that how Rishabdev appears and his qualities are mentioned and how the citizens in the kingdom are very happy with him. So, seeing this, Nabi, when the appropriate time came, he left the kingdom to achieve the perfection. So, in this particular translation, it is being mentioned that how the sages are glorifying Maharaj Nabi for attaining the perfection and for also his activities in devotional service, which are very pure. So, in the purport to Yajnarthat Karmano Nitra Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. So, as Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport, so Prabhupada is mentioning that Yajna means Lord Vishnu or sacrificial performances. All sacrificial performances are meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu. The Vedas enjoin Yajno by Vishnu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yajnas or directly serves Lord Vishnu. Jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadramai Ki Chai. Means, Prabhupada is saying that if you serve Lord Vishnu, if you serve for his pleasure, you get the same benefit of performing yajna because that is same. So, in the process of karma yoga, as Krishna mentions that we should offer the results to him. So, once Srila Prabhupada was in a morning walk in Juhu Beach and he was with one businessman. So, Prabhupada was talking about how important it is to offer the results of the pleasure of Lord. So, that businessman was telling that why we should offer the results. Because generally the tendency of living entities that because I am the doer, I worked hard, so I put all the efforts. So what is the need that I should offer to Lord? Where is Lord involved? So Srila Prabhupada very nicely explained that he asked him, what business you do? So he said, I do glass business. So then Prabhupada said, from where glass comes? So he said, glass comes from silica. So from where silica comes? So he said, from sand. From where sand comes? Said, from earth. So then Prabhupada said, Bhumi Rapo Analo Vair Kamano Buddhirya Vacha Ahankaramiti Emme Vinna Prakrita. So all the Pancha Mahabhutas, the earth, water, fire, all this Krishna is telling that these are coming from me. So ultimately Krishna is Sarva Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So it's not that Lord is not involved. Actually, Lord is involved at every step. As Krishna mentions in the 7th chapter also about his energies, right? So how he is involved at every step. So he is saying, Matta Smritir Gnanam Apohanam Cha. He is giving memory, knowledge, forgetfulness. So also Balam Balavatam Chaham, Buddhir Buddhimatam Chaham. He is giving the intelligence, he is giving us the strength. So at every step, actually, Lord is involved. But the living entity, because he thinks that he is the doer, then he thinks he is the proprietor and controller. So he feels that I should be the enjoyer of the results of my work. But you should understand that even to do that activity, Lord's mercy is required. It's not means he is able to do it on its own, on his own. The Lord's sanction is required at every step. So that's why, like Srila Prabhupada mentions, the Nobel Prize should be given to means in terms of Newton. When he gives the example Newton, he says that the scientists generally take the credit, but the Nobel Prize should be given to God. So somebody may say, but the scientists have worked hard in finding out or doing so much research, then why it should be given to God? So now if you take example of Newton finding law of gravitation force. Okay, he saw some apple falling and then he came to that conclusion. So, but who is more important? In the sense, somebody who made that law in nature or somebody who is actually finding that law? Because first of all, somebody has to make that law exist in the nature, right? Which is actually not possible for conditioned souls. So it is possible only for the Lord. So after somebody makes, finding is not so difficult, right? That, okay, little bit research may be required, but that is not so difficult, right? To make it is difficult. So, but the living entities have this nature that they want to take all the credit. They want to be the enjoyer. So, that's why Krishna is telling that one should offer the results of one's work to him for his pleasure. So then, understanding that he is the proprietor, he is the enjoyer, right? So when he is satisfied, automatically all the living entities will also be satisfied. So that is one aspect here which is being mentioned. Another aspect about Shuddhena Karmana. So work should be offered, means one should carry out devotional service, okay, for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So one should perform pure devotional service. So in this regard, Lord Shiva is telling to Mother Parvati in the 4th canto, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam Yadiyate Tatra Puman Apavritah Sattvecha Tasmin Bhagavan Vasudevo Yadakshajo Me Namasa Vediyate. So he is saying, I am always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudev in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead known as Vasudev is revealed without any covering. So here Lord Shiva is basically telling how is he able to remain pure in his consciousness? Because he is always engaged in offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord in pure Krishna consciousness. So in the purport, Prabhupada is talking about Shuddha Sattva, how it is transcendental to the material qualities under the internal potency. So he is giving the analogy of iron rod kept in fire. So gradually the iron also becomes fiery because it is kept in the association. So Prabhupada quotes Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatite tan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So one can transcend the 3 modes by engaging in the devotional service of the Lord, unadulterated devotional service. So here in the purport, Jiva Goswami, Prabhupada quotes Jiva Goswami, he is saying that the word Ashtottara Sata, generally when we glorify Jayavam Vishnupad Paramas Revikacharya, Ashtottara Sata Sri. So he is saying that Ashtottara Sata 108 is added to the name of the spiritual master to indicate one who is situated in Shuddha Sattva or in the transcendental state of Vasudev. The word Vasudev is also used for other purposes. Prabhupada quotes that one who is everywhere or all pervading is also Vasudev. Then he explains that because Vasudev, Lord Vasudev appeared in the heart of Vasudev. So Vasudev is the ground wherein Lord Vasudev is revealed. So because we know that Vasudeva was very pure hearted, Krishna appeared in his heart. So here also it is mentioned about Nabi. Why appeared this Lord Rishabdev appeared as his son? Because of his pure consciousness. So similarly, Lord Vasudeva appeared in the heart of Vasudeva, and then later externally manifested because of his purity. So we also should be endeavoring to develop that purity. So as Prabhupada mentioned, purity is the force, right? So Prabhupada has given us the sadhana by which we can actually develop this purity in our heart. When we strictly follow the rules and regulations, gradually over a period of time we can also become pure. So another aspect which here Prabhupada is talking of is that how one should engage one's activities in the service of the Lord as per one's nature. So in third canto, 22nd chapter, 7th verse, this verse comes, Dishta tvayanusishtoham kritaschanugraho mahan apavritai karnarandre jushta dishto satir giraha. So Prabhupada mentions that the mercy of the spiritual master actually comes through the ears, not through any other ways and means. So here, one very important aspect which Prabhupada is talking of is that how the spiritual master engages his disciples. So Prabhupada is telling the real fact is that bona fide spiritual master knows the nature of a particular man and what sort of duties he can perform in Krishna consciousness, and he instructs him in that way. He instructs him through the ear, not privately but publicly. You are fit for such and such work in Krishna consciousness. You can act in this way. One person is advised to act in Krishna consciousness by working in the deity's room. Another is advised to act in Krishna consciousness by performing editorial work. Another is advised to do preaching work. Another is advised to carry out Krishna consciousness in the cooking department. There are different departments of activity in Krishna consciousness, and a spiritual master, knowing the particular ability of a particular man, trains him in such a way that by his tendency to act, he becomes perfect. Bhagavad Gita, it is clear that one can attain the highest perfection of spiritual life simply by offering service according to his ability. Just as Arjuna served Krishna by his ability in the military art. So Prabhupada is talking how Arjuna served Krishna by becoming a Kshatriya and fighting. Similarly, artist can attain perfection simply by performing artistic work under the direction of spiritual master. If one is a literary man, he can write articles and poetry for the service of the Lord under the direction of the spiritual master. One has to receive the message of the spiritual master according to how to act in one's capacity, for the spiritual master is expert in giving such instructions. So, very wonderful purport. So, here, as it is mentioned that Shuddhena Karmana, one should perform one's activities with a pure consciousness. But the Varnashram system talks about 4 Varnas and Ashrams. And ultimately, Atab Pumbir Jashreshtha Varnashram Vibhagasya Sonishritasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. It should be performed for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu or Hari. So, here as Prabhupada is mentioning that according to one's nature, the spiritual master will engage him. But the most important thing is that it should be done under the direction of spiritual master. Like somebody wanted to learn Ayurveda. So one disciple went to Prabhupada and said that, can I learn Ayurveda for some time under some Kaviraj? Prabhupada said no. But Prabhupada was very expert in engaging people as per their natures and talents. So once when Prabhupada was walking in the early days, so one English professor met him while walking on the street, and he was quite inquisitive and wanted to know about Bhagavad Gita. So during that discussion, So he wanted to serve Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada asked him that because you are English professor, can you do some editing work for me? English. Uh, so he said, yeah, I can do. So then Prabhupada went and opened one trunk which was filled with all papers, this transcripts. So Haigiri Prabhu, he was later he became Haigiri Prabhu. So Haigiri Prabhu was shocked because he thought that it will be some few papers, but Prabhupada gave him whole trunk full of papers to be edited. So Prabhupada was so expert that people, whatever little talent they had, immediately he would engage them. Like His Holiness Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj also mentions that when Prabhupada knew that he was a Bengali, so even in the very first few months only, he said that, can you please translate my books into Bengali? So Prabhupada engaged so many of his disciples in painting, and we know Shyam Sundar Prabhu, he knew carpentry. So Prabhupada told him to carve Jagannath Valle Subhadra. And we hear that how, means they were so new that when he was carving that, he was once smoking, and he kept that cigarette also on top of deities. So Prabhupada came and he removed it with the cane. Don't allow this between you and Krishna. So, and also he engaged their passion in Krishna consciousness. So Shyam Sundar Prabhu was very expert in bringing in big people to Prabhupada, and also doing some big programs. So in San Francisco, we know that how they arranged a huge program. So then Prabhupada told the three couples, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Malati Mataji, Gurudas Prabhu and all, Yamuna Mataji and all. So he told that you go to London and start a center there. So we see that actually they were hardly practicing Krishna consciousness for a few months, and hardly there were any books also. Very few books, Bhagavad Gita and few books, Bhagavatam. Hardly they knew any philosophy, little bit they knew. So Prabhupada said, I will teach you how to do Harinam Sankirtan, and you go and do Harinam Sankirtan, and you teach whatever you learned from me. And they also had so much faith in Prabhupada. They were not fearful, they wanted to please Prabhupada. So they also went thinking that, okay, we'll try to please Prabhupada. So when they went to London, these three couples, and Malati Mataji had a child, Saraswati also. So to enter England, they needed that every person should have some money, some amount of pounds. They had money only for one person. So one person would give, enter England, and then they would again send it back, another person would enter. So like that, with great struggle they entered, and sometimes they didn't have proper accommodation also. With that small baby, they were staying in some big pipes and all like that. So such was the situation they were in. But still, they were very sincerely trying to, as Prabhupada mentioned, do Harinam and preach whatever they can. So there was some struggle initially, but eventually we know that how, because they had faith in the words of Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada, Krishna also reciprocated. So they could meet George Harrison, and we know the history. So Prabhupada mentions in this purport that the combination, the instruction of the spiritual master and the faithful execution of the instruction by the disciple makes the entire process perfect. Hmm? So Prabhupada gave this instruction, and the disciples also very faithfully executed. So Prabhupada again mentions about Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, how one can attain success, spiritual success. So for that one should take the instruction as spiritual master as one's life and soul and faithfully try to execute it. So actually Prabhupada was also very expert in engaging, and his disciples also very sincerely took those instructions to their heart. So we see Srila Prabhupada himself in the first meeting with his spiritual master, he was given the instruction that um, you preach this message of Lord Chaitanya in English language. And Prabhupada took it so seriously and he tried his level best to execute that instructions. So we should also see that how much faith Srila Prabhupada had, because so many people were actually saying that Prabhupada, you are so old, you may die out of cold, and also there is nobody to help you. There may not be any vegetarian food also available there. So it is very difficult, and nobody was there actually to help also. So a 70-year-old man with hardly anybody to help and hardly any money, any place to stay. So it is very difficult, right? Even when we go to, suppose if we are going to any place, even for some yatra, we make sure that everything is arranged. Uh, Accommodation, prasad, we carry some Lakshmi. So when everything is properly arranged, then only we go, right? So, but Prabhupada, no, he had hardly any facility available, and on top of that, he got heart attacks also. So, but still, he was so much determined. So he said that better I leave my body while executing the instructions of my spiritual master. So that is what it means to take the instructions of spiritual master as life and soul, right? So also we see this, uh, like Prabhupada mentioning that one should engage uh, as per one's nature and capacity. So we hear this pastime when once Burijan, His Grace Burijan Prabhu was with Srila Prabhupada, he actually gave some few $100 donation. So Prabhupada was very pleased. So after some time, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj had come, and I think he gave some $10,000, something like that. So then Prabhupada said, "Oh, only this much? Why so less?" So then Burjan Prabhu was like surprised that I gave so less and he gave so much more, but still Prabhupada is not pleased. Then he asked Prabhupada that why no, he said like that. So then Prabhupada said that his capacity is more. He gave very less compared to his capacity. So Prabhupada not only engaged as per one's nature, but also as per one's capacity, right? So, but whatever may be one's capacity, one should try to serve to the best. Like we hear the story of Squirrel and Hanuman. Both pleased Lord Ram because both served according to one's capacity. So, but Prabhupada was very, very expert, seeing that how these Westerners are very, very hardworking. They have so much passion that can be engaged in Krishna service. So sometimes we hear that how Prabhupada engaged them in almost impossible tasks. So we know the famous pastime of uh, where Prabhupada told in a morning walk that in 2 months you should print this 17 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when Rameshwar Prabhu heard that, so he was like shocked because even in 2 months, even for us to even read may be difficult. 17 volumes. What to speak of? No. editing and getting it typed, printed, also all the pictures to be painted. It's really challenging. 17 volumes in 2 months. So he said that impossible, Prabhupada, this is impossible. And we know that how Prabhupada kept his cane in the sand very firmly and said, impossible is a word in Fool's Dictionary. So when Prabhupada actually said that, Rameshwar Prabhu was stunned. So he just waited there, and Prabhupada just walked ahead. So Rameshwar Prabhu was telling in one lecture in Juhu that that time he thought that let me try to please Prabhupada because he wants it. So he said, the moment I thought to please Prabhupada, immediately, suddenly, so many thoughts about that service came, how to execute it. He said, in a just few seconds, I got so many ideas. Previously, I didn't get any idea. But the moment I tried to please Prabhupada, immediately I got so many ideas by which I can do that service. So after he got that ideas, then immediately he ran to Prabhupada and said that, Prabhupada, we will try to please you. We'll try to do this in 2 months, but please stay to help us. So Prabhupada agreed. And we know that how actually they did it, really putting their heart and soul. And Prabhupada, at the end, he said that those who rendered this service, they will all go back home, back to Godhead, because he was so much pleased. So, but we can see how Prabhupada was so expert in exactly, knowing what to do with their nature, right? He organized book distribution in such a wonderful way that even now, when we see those scores, it is like really surprising that how can someone do so much, that too in Western countries, not in India, right? So, because these disciples actually took his instructions so sincerely to heart, as Prabhupada is mentioning, and they tried to please. So, Prabhupada was so happy with those three couples. Prabhupada used to say that even my Guru Maharaj has sent sannyasis to preach. Means they are also great souls. It's not they are also pure souls. But the point is that how these three couples took the instructions of the spiritual master so sincerely to heart and tried their level best to execute. So that's why they could do such a nice service there. So here in this particular verse, we are seeing the Prabhupada talking about Shuddhena Karmana, how one should try to work um, with a pure consciousness for the pleasure of Lord, and also they are glorifying him, this Maharaj Navi, for his activities, and because of his purity, the Lord appeared as his son. So we saw that how Yajna means Lord Vishnu, and performing work for his pleasure is also Yajna. And Prabhupada, we saw some examples from Srila Prabhupada, that how he explained to that businessman. So this tendency of enjoyment is very strong in the conditioned soul. So if you offer the results to Krishna, a pleasing way, that will be pleasing to Lord, and we get purified. And also we saw how Lord Shiva is mentioning, because he continuously serves Lord, that's why he is able to maintain his purity. And also we saw about Prabhupada talking in the one of the purports, the third canto, how the spiritual master engages as per one's nature and capacity. So we discussed several examples how Prabhupada is very nicely engaged as per one's nature. So we are also fortunate to be in Iskcon, where Prabhupada and his followers are very kindly engaging us in so many varieties of services. as per one's nature. Nobody can say that I have no service or I don't know how to engage myself. Even in old age, one can serve Charnamrit and engage himself in service of the Lord. So we are very fortunate uh, to get this opportunity. So we should take advantage and purify our hearts and attain perfection. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveda Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai.